begin. So good evening again, everyone. I'm Dr. Felicia Adderley, and I am a Bahamian-born and raised physiotherapist. I am U.S. trained, and I help people to take control of their lives after injury or trauma, and then they get back to a high standard of living and doing the things that they love to do. I am the visionary and proprietor of Adderley Physiotherapy on Mackey Street in the Mackey Street Plaza. And I've been able to help hundreds of patients over the years reach their physiotherapy goals. I have a bachelor's in biology pre-physical therapy and a doctorate in physical therapy. I'm a certified kinesiotaping practitioner, and I hold a manual lymphatic drainage certification. I've attended countless courses in cancer rehabilitation, lymphatic drainage, and hand therapy. I have been a licensed physiotherapist for 8 years and running a successful private practice for 4. So this evening's topic, we're going to be talking about 8 foods to help you heal fast. Okay, so there are many factors that contribute to how fast a person will heal from injury, trauma, surgery. Age, prior level of function, comorbidities, weight, and nutrition are a few of those. So our nutrition is something that we can easily control. Although I can admit it is expensive to eat healthy, we know that, and many people will say that they can't afford to eat healthy. We really can't afford not to. Personally, I plan to be on this earth for a good long time, so I have to take good care of this one body. So here are 8 foods to help you to heal fast. Number 1, leafy green vegetables. So this includes kale, spinach, mustard greens, Swiss chard, arugula. And here's a fun fact. I can vouch for the fact that 3 of these are easy to grow for yourself, as I have them all going right now in my garden. So I've got kale back there, I've got spinach, and some Swiss chard. So it's not that hard, and that really helps and reduce the cost, right? If you can grow it yourself. And it's really not that difficult. So that's something to consider as well, So these green vegetables, they help to decrease inflammation, which is really important, especially after surgery, when post-surgical swelling is an issue. Or even think about, let's say if you have a sprained ankle, we know there can be a lot of swelling associated with that. And, you want to be able to be using your diet to help and heal your body the natural way. So you want to be eating the right foods and avoid the wrong ones, right? So even that, think about how swollen a sprained ankle could be. So why not help that out by just, eating a lot of the right foods? And in this case, the leafy green vegetables are one of those things that really helps with that. And you'll see that a few of the 8 foods that have made our list today have similar functions. So when it comes to swelling, the importance of being able to reduce swelling after injury is because swelling can be a deterrent to achieving therapy goals that surround improving range of motion of joints, because swelling is basically in the way. So the more swollen that a person is, the harder that is for them to achieve full range of motion. Okay, so because it's taking up the space that's around the joint and not allowing free and full movement. Leafy greens also improve the function of the immune system, which we know is all important these days, right? Even since COVID-19, we've just been hearing about the immune system every day. If you turn on the radio, if you turn on the TV, you are hearing about the immune system. So if we weren't thinking about it before, we're definitely thinking about it now. So these things are important, but it's not that difficult to do, once we actually are taking the correct steps, taking the correct measures, and really eating the right foods, like we'll continue to talk about here. Okay, so the leafy greens, they also improve wound healing. That's really important after surgery as well. Some people really have a hard time, and it takes a long time for their wounds to heal. And nutrition is one of the factors that contributes to that. So it's important to, again, be eating the right things, staying away from, fried foods and the things that actually cause more inflammation, right? So we have to do ourselves a favor. So when it comes to these green foods, what do they contain? They contain vitamin C, manganese, magnesium, folate, provitamin A, and antioxidants. So that's food number one. Food number one, leafy green vegetables. So I had a roommate that used to always say that every meal had to have something green on your plate. So that's a pretty good rule of thumb. I never forgot that. So, it's really, that's kind of just like a simple rule to live by. Try every time you go to the grocery store, pick something that's green from the fruit and vegetable section, right? All right, so number two, berries. Berries, these include your blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. Your berries, once again, contain vitamin C and antioxidants. So you're going to see a lot of common themes here tonight. And vitamin C, the importance of that is that it promotes healing of wounds, and it does that by stimulating collagen production. So we've heard a lot of times collagen is in the skin. The skin is our largest organ. So of course it follows that, hey, there's a whole lot of collagen that's in the body. Okay. And it's actually the protein that's found in the body in the most abundance. So the antioxidant, there's an antioxidant that's called anthocyanin. And these are what actually give the berries their brilliant colors. It was my thought that we could easily put numbers 1 and 2. So you put your leafy greens together with your berries, and you could either make that into a nice salad or add a few more ingredients and you can make that into a nice smoothie. So you got to think about now, how are we going to incorporate these things into our daily diets? So it's really not that difficult, and again, those are things that you could do yourself at home, or you would be able to find a nice, it's pretty easy to find a nice smoothie these days. Smoothies are in, okay? So quite a few places that you can find yourself a nice nutritious smoothie. All right, so that brings us to number 3. And of course, feel free to bring any of your questions into the comment section. Go ahead and put your questions in there, any that you may have, and I'll be sure that I address them. So number 3. Number 3 is coconut. So when it comes to the water, coconut water, this is a low calorie, low carb, low sugar, and practically fat-free solution. So of course here we're in the Bahamas and we can find these things in abundance. We can get fresh coconuts and coconut water on the side of the road. There are also, I find, a few nice alternatives that you can find in the grocery store. If you're going to purchase coconut water from the grocery store, I would advise that you lean more towards the ones that are really more natural and don't have a lot of the added sugars. And if you just kind of turn around and read the food label, you'll be able to tell, or the nutrition label. You'll be able to tell what's going on in there. So, and reading labels is very important so that you know what you're actually putting into your body. It may have some very, very nice sayings on the front that make you want to buy it, but make sure that you actually flip it around and you're checking to see what are you really putting into your body. So the coconut water, it is high in vitamin C, B vitamins, and protein. When it comes to the fleshy or the white part of the coconut, this fleshy part helps to restore damaged tissue, and it's a source of healthy fat, protein again, and additional vitamins and minerals. All right, so it also helps to support immune health because it's antiviral, it's antifungal, it's antibacterial, and antiparasite. So this helps to improve digestion as well as the absorption of nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So we know that many times it occurs in nature that there are some minerals, vitamins that go hand in hand, and one will help with the absorption of the other. So one pairing that always comes to mind for me would be like your vitamin D and calcium. And I always just think of like the the milk that comes in the jug with the red cover. I've always throughout life, every time I picture that, I always picture the label that has the vitamin D and calcium, with vitamin D and calcium on it. So that, it always helps me to remember that those are two things that go together, hand in hand. So one helps out with the other. And if you kind of don't have them both together, then your body really can't take the best advantage of it. All right. Now, some different forms in which you can get your coconut fix. So, in addition to just like the natural coconut water that we would be able to get, you also have now a lot of different coconut-based products on the market that can be easily used to substitute, whereas we would have used a lot of white flour, perhaps before, or thick white sugars and things like that. Now you have these other options. So you have coconut flour, you have coconut milk, coconut cream, and coconut sugar, which are all very nice options. So it's nice to sometimes experiment with these other things. It's a different taste, but it's a good taste. So it's something that's nice to try out. It's good to try new things, and it's much healthier for us. So many times I find that when we incorporate some of these new things into our diet, you end up liking it more than some of the traditional things, the white flours, the white sugar, to the point that now these things, if you have them, it tastes strange to you because you're really used to having something that is much better for you and is actually still rather tasty. All right, so that brings us on to point number 4, or food number 4. Food number 4 is eggs. Eggs are, of course, an excellent source of protein. Protein is the building block of muscles. This is why when people want to bulk up or they want to increase their muscle mass, different but good taste. Yes. Yes, Catherine. Good to see you on the broadcast. All right. So the protein and the eggs. So a lot of people, when they're, trying to work out in the gym, they will eat a protein-rich diet. Some people will even go so far as to supplement with protein shakes because, all that protein is needed to help and increase the muscle mass or size. So remember that when you're healing, the body needs something to work with. We can consider these things to be the right ingredients to throw into the mix. I usually would make the statement like your body can, you can't give your body chips and cookies and then want it to heal and do well. It can't really do much with that. There's not a whole lot that's in that. Betty says that she makes her own coconut milk. Very resourceful. All right, so like I said, you want to have your body with something that it can actually do something with. You want to give it something that's good, right? We know that sometimes, yes, we have a little junk food craving, but we just want to limit what's the amount that we have those things in. I'm always appalled, I'll tell you the truth, when someone says to me that they don't eat vegetables, like they don't eat vegetables at all. So, you have to have some sort of a balance in your diet. I'm not saying to cut everything out that, you enjoy, or something that's a treat for yourself. There's nothing wrong with that every now and again, but it's just moderation and making sure that you have some of the good things in your diet as well, and try to replace some of those things that are not so good foods or not really the healthiest foods with, the ones that are more healthy, some of the ones that we're talking about today. Awesome. Yes. The coconut water is really good, even for hydration. It's excellent. It helps a lot of people like with restoring their electrolytes and things like that. So the coconut water is really good. And the more natural it is, the better. So that's a really good point, Danielle. So when it comes to following surgery, after surgery, the body needs even more protein than it does under normal circumstances. So the recommendation is for 0.7 to 0.9 grams of protein per pound of body weight following a surgery. So you'd actually want to take your weight as an individual and kind of multiply that by either the low range, the 0.7, or the 0.9 to really see how many grams of protein you should be taking in for your particular size. So that's a way to really personalize that, and I really like that. So when it comes to eggs, they not only provide protein in our diet, but they also support immune health and wound healing. So those may have been some points that maybe we're not as well known about eggs. We always hear about eggs being a protein-rich food, but to think about it too, yes, they also support the immune system and wound healing. So Vandy is telling Shane Joseph that this is a good video for her. I hope Shane is listening. I hope Shane is listening, right? Oh, Shane may be a guy. Okay, so she or he should be coming on the broadcast. If not, they can always catch the broadcast later, right? On the replay. So eggs also contain vitamin A, B12, zinc, iron, and selenium. So zinc has been another hot mineral over the last several months, so it's good to see that even if we don't have these things, maybe as a supplement, which if you don't feel that you get enough from your diet itself, that's where supplementation comes in. But we have a lot of natural sources for these different minerals, vitamins, and nutrients as well. So good to know. So another choice that's another protein source would be number 5. Number 5 is salmon. Salmon contains protein, B vitamins, selenium, iron, zinc, and omega-3 fats. Promotes wound healing. So there's that wound healing again, which is very important after surgery. It's also very important to persons that may have developed pressure ulcers. So that's very helpful to know as well. So another benefit would be an enhanced immune response. And it also, once again, reduces inflammation. So we can see a lot of common themes here. So this is when it's taken in supplement form, right? So this would be with regards to the omega-3. So the selenium that's in the salmon supports the immune system and it regulates inflammation. But it is important to note that omega-3 in this natural form as it's found in the salmon, it's safe after surgery. But if you were just thinking about using a supplement, the omega-3 supplement, which usually would come in a soft gel, you may want to just check with your physician first, just because your physician may have an opinion on its use in conjunction with the surgery. So for my people that are vegan, okay, or veganish, okay, I didn't forget about you, all right? So a good source of protein for persons that may be vegan would be nuts and seeds. So these would include almonds, pecans, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and hemp seeds. Now, hemp is a whole other debate here in the Bahamas right now. We're still kind of going back and forth on that. So you could always stick to the first 4 if you're here with me local in the Bahamas. Okay, if you live somewhere that the hemp is readily available, go ahead and have at it. Now, when it comes to these nuts and seeds, they, of course, in addition to the protein, they also contain zinc, vitamin E, manganese, and magnesium. When it comes to the vitamin E that's contained in those nuts, it acts as an antioxidant and it helps the immune system and also protects against cell damage. Yes, Catherine, vegan-ish. So that's kind of like apparently a term, like you kind of vegan, but not all the way. You can't like all the way take the plunge. You half and half. Like you want to be plant-based, but then every now and again you want to taste something that's not a plant. It is what it is. All right, so this brings us on to number 7. So we're on to our seventh food that helps us to heal. Try to be veganish. Yeah, veganish sounds good because it's kind of like you don't want to completely take the plunge. If you like me every now and again, not too often, but every now and again you might want to taste a steak. And I don't know about giving up chicken either. I don't know. I can get with the fish, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna give it all the way up. We'll see how it goes. All right, but some of those vegan meals can be tasty, right? I don't mind being vegan like a few days out of the week. Y'all could let me know in the comments how y'all feel about it. All right. So food number 7. Food number 7 that helps you to heal fast. Aloe vera. So this is one that I think everybody should be familiar with, right? And aloe, the aloe plant, relatively easy to grow. I think everybody has had an aloe plant at some point in their life cycle. And I'm sure that if that's not the case, we all know somebody that has some aloe, or as we call it here in the Bahamas, aloes in their yard, right? Everybody can get their hands on some aloe if they need to. So the aloe contains 18 out of the 20 amino acids that are naturally found in the body. That's a pretty good ratio. I was impressed by that. It also contains a total of 12 vitamins. Among those vitamins are A, B, C, and vitamin E. It also contains over 1,200 active plant compounds. So much like coconut, it has antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. And one of the benefits that will be relevant to our discussion here tonight is that it eases inflammation and arthritic pain. Okay, so that's another kind of plug for inflammation. So Catherine Bannaby says she's gone over a year with no red meat, turkey or chicken. I would miss that chicken. I'm sorry. I wouldn't miss the turkey. I could do without turkey. I could almost even make it without red meat, but the chicken, I just need the chicken. I need the cluck cluck. I don't know. All right. Okay, so this brings us on now to the 8th food. So 8 foods that help you heal. Number 8, bee pollen. I thought this would be a nice one to add to our list in our discussion. There's many, many more than 8. Some of them are pretty interesting, not ones that you hear about all the time. But they had some interesting things when I did my research. Things like there was a strange type of mushroom that they were talking about, but we can maybe get into some of the less known or less common ones. Another broadcast, if you're interested, let me know. So food number 8, bee pollen. So bee pollen, this is a rich source of carotenoids, and it has 22 amino acids and enzymes. So amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And then proteins, as we talked about earlier, they're the building block of muscles. So we can see how this kind of like one builds on the other, and that amino acids are really important to our bodies. So the bee pollen contains B vitamins. It contains vitamin C, vitamin E, and more than 68 minerals. So bee pollen is often referred to as a superfood, right? There's a lot in there. All right. So one of the many benefits of bee pollen, in addition to things like providing your body with a lot of energy. So if you're feeling run down, bee pollen is something that could be really helpful to you, but it also increases the resistance to infections. So it's really good at helping to kind of improve your body's defenses. Bee pollen, this was interesting. Bee pollen is found on the bodies of the bees, and it collects on them as they move about in nature. So I imagine that as they're flying about and they're like going in and out of flowers, they get this pollen that then rubs on their bodies. And then that is collected and then, put into this supplement form. So it's kind of like a secret life of bees kind of deal. I think beekeeping is very interesting, by the way. So that's our list of 8 foods. Again, there are many, many more. You don't have to pressure yourself to put them all into your diet all at once. Okay, I would suggest maybe adding things in slowly, maybe 1 or 2 at a time, and then kind of see if you feel a difference in your body, and you'll know what's working for you and and what's not. Randy says it's always the chicken. The chicken is the hardest. The chicken is the hardest to give up. Danielle, she's not there yet either. Yeah, I love the cluck cluck. So versatile. I don't know. Life without chicken? I don't know. All right. So that's pretty much my presentation for the evening. Can you get the benefits from the honey? As I was researching for this evening, it did specifically say that the pollen is not something that you'll really get from the honey, or like it's not the same thing. Like the pollen isn't so much like you're gonna get it off of the hive, because it's like I said, that's why I think the bees, like that's a whole discussion. It's just such an interesting topic, and they were talking about how, you know, the royal jelly, that's different, and then the honey, that's different again. So they all have different benefits. And I think that the honey is of course really nice as well. So it will be a really nice substitute, let's say, instead of using the sugar so often. And I mean like a natural honey, not like the watered down stuff that's really expensive in the store for some reason. You know, you really want to look at what's the quality of the honey that you're using as well. And, you know, you want to go for like the organic, like make sure, see if it's marked as organic. The honey is a nice substitute for either the white sugar. And I've actually found myself like I use a whole lot of like I would use brown sugar a lot more than I would use, you know, I pretty much like kind of cut out the white sugar. But I have actually heard someone say that they use honey to sweeten their coffee. I thought that was interesting. And I did try it once. It's a little getting used to, but it's a little getting used to, but it wasn't bad. But no, when it comes to the bee pollen, I wouldn't say like the honey may not be the best source, Danielle, but a supplement would be like the best thing to do so that you know that you're really getting like the concentration that you would want to be beneficial to you. But I would still say, you know, honey is still good to use and definitely has some benefits. Would be better than using white sugar. Pretty much anything is better than white sugar right now. So Betty Adley says that she highly recommends the aloe and the bee pollen, and she's been taking these for years. That's awesome. Awesome. Any other questions at this time? You can always just pop them into the comments. I see that Dwight just came on. Hi, Dwight. Good to have you on the broadcast. We're just polishing up here. What I'll do is just kind of go back over what were the 8 foods that we discussed. And of course, anybody that missed our full broadcast, this will post onto Facebook. It may be posted onto Facebook following our wrapping up of the broadcast. Daniel says, "You're welcome, Danielle." Says it may be too refined in the U.S. that she and her husband use honey and tea. It's my preference as well. My favorite food on the list, it's probably berries. It's probably berries. I do have a sweet tooth, and so if it's sweet, like I like it. If it's sweet, I like it. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite little snacks. I'll share this with you all, and I just get in the fridge and just kind of like I'll just throw stuff together. So if I have like berries, you know, you could put berries, a little bit of like vanilla or plain Greek yogurt, and then like sprinkle a little like cinnamon sugar on that. That's like heaven. So my favorite food from the list was berries. Anybody else that wants to share what was their favorite food or point from the list can feel free to do so as well. Danielle, with regard to the honey maybe being too refined in the US, that is a good point. And it may be nice to find where you can get some organic honey. Like, you know, we can find people here relatively easily that, you know, do beekeeping. I don't know how easy it is to find in the part of the states that you're from, though, Danielle. That would be very interesting. Awesome, awesome. So just reviewing our 8 foods for those that may just be joining. Food number 1, leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach, arugula, Swiss chard, mustard greens. Food number 2, berries, any kind of berries. I just stated that berries are my favorite. Food 3, coconut, another easy one for us to get our hands on here in the Bahamas. Food number 4, getting into the protein-rich foods here, eggs. Food number 5, another protein-rich food, salmon. Food number 6, nuts and seeds. Oh, Danielle says she loves the green leafy smoothies. Me too. The kale can be a little bit bitter, but it's really nice when it's offset with the berries. You know, berries are my favorite. The berries make it sweet. So the berries make it go down a lot easier. The full green smoothie, maybe not as much. Okay. But I thought it was really very nice when you add the berries. All right. So when you think about now, number 6, nuts and seeds, nuts and seeds. All right. And then you also have food number 7, aloe vera, which we often think about the aloe vera as something that we use topically a lot. But of course, the aloe vera can be stabilized. Some people mix it up on the blender themselves. But you know, the aloe can be a little bit hard to deal with in its natural form. So what you can do is you can actually purchase aloe vera juice on the market. You can buy it from the store off the shelves. You know, there's a lot of different companies. I found that one of the better companies is Forever Living Products. They have a very high standard for their products that they sell, and you know, it's not watered down. You know, you get a lot of things, and it's like, yes, you can find almost any product, several different brands, but what is the quality of it? And basically, they did the work for you, so you don't have to deal with the slime, the yellow sap, the smell, all of that. And you know, they have a few different flavors as well. So I always find that that product line is very nice, and they make a lot of aloe-based products. So when you think about now how to get the aloe on the inside in a manner that doesn't taste too bad, aloe juice is just the thing. And then food number 8. Food number 8, that is bee pollen. Food number 8 was bee pollen. So those are our 8 foods that help you to heal. So if there are any further questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'll give you a few seconds to see if you have anything else that needs any immediate attention or needs to be answered. You can also feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to contact me through any of our various social media pages. Uh, of course, feel free to go ahead and like the Facebook page here. It's the Nuts and Seeds for Catherine. That's awesome. I'm not much of a nut and seed person myself. I don't know, never been too much into it. But I know that some people that just be snacking on some nuts. So snacking on those nuts and seeds, sunflower seeds. I don't know. I can't get with it. It's like it's bird food. I don't know. But yes, to each their own. Catherine, thanks for sharing and thanks for coming on the broadcast. Will you be able to find the list on the Facebook or our IG page? We will put it up. So what I'll do is go ahead and get it together. Someone on the team will help me. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. To someone on my team, they know who they are, that I'm going to ask to please help with putting that together, and then we'll make a nice post and we'll put it up.